He tried to kick out the elderly couple. Then their son walked in, the federal judge. The landlord thought they were just another old couple who couldn't pay. But the truth about their family would flip his entire world upside down. Harold and Denise Carter had lived in the small rented house on Willow Street for nearly 23 years. Everyone in the neighborhood knew them. The calm elderly, black couple who always greeted people from their porch, always kept their yard clean, and never caused trouble. They were the kind of neighbors people felt safe around. But that morning, for the first time in decades, Denise's hands were shaking as she opened the front door. Their landlord, Victor Hale, stood outside with a clipboard, sunglasses, and that cold smirk he wore when he felt powerful. He didn't even say good morning. He just slid an envelope across the porch railing. "Final notice," he said flatly. "You have 7 days to clear out." Denise felt her knees weaken. "Victor, please. We've never missed a payment." "Not once." Victor shrugged. "Market's going up. I can get triple the rent with new tenants. It's nothing personal." But Denise knew it was personal. The way he looked at them, the way he spoke to them, the way he always assumed they didn't know their rights. Over the last 6 months, he'd been looking for excuses. Tiny repairs, random inspections, surprise visits. Something had changed in him. And now, he wasn't hiding it anymore. Harold stepped out behind his wife, his eyes calm but firm. "Victor, we're not leaving. You know this isn't legal." Victor leaned forward, his voice dropping to a whisper. "Who's going to stop me? You two? You think anyone's going to believe an elderly couple over the property owner?" He tapped the envelope. "Clock's ticking." He turned around and walked back to his truck, smirking as if he had already won. Denise felt tears burning behind her eyes. Harold wrapped an arm around her shoulders. "Don't cry. We're not done." But inside, he felt the same fear she did. They didn't have money for lawyers. They didn't have backup. And they were tired. So tired. Inside the house, they sat at the dining table, the eviction paper between them. The afternoon sun shined through the window, but even the warm light couldn't calm the storm inside their hearts. Denise whispered, "What will we do? We're too old to start over." Harold squeezed her hand. "We call him." Her eyes widened. "Are you sure?" "He's busy. You know how his schedule is. We shouldn't bother him with this." Harold shook his head. "We're not bothering him. He told us to call any time, especially if something like this ever happened." Denise hesitated, then picked up the phone. But her hands trembled too much to dial. Harold took the phone and placed it beside him. Before he could dial, there was a loud knock at the door. 3 sharp knocks, aggressive. Denise jumped. Harold steadied his voice. "Stay behind me." He opened the door again, and there stood Victor, angrier this time, waving another paper. "I changed my mind," he snapped. "You have 48 hours, not 7 days." Denise's voice cracked. "Victor, why are you doing this?" "Because I can," he barked. "And believe me, fighting me will only make things worse." He stepped closer, lowering his voice. "You think someone's coming to save you? Nobody cares. You're just 2 old people living off my property." Denise felt her heart break. Harold inhaled slowly, gripping the doorknob so tightly his knuckles turned white. He didn't shout. He didn't argue. He simply said, "Victor, you really don't want to do this." Victor laughed in his face. "Watch me." He turned and walked away again, leaving them standing in the doorway, shaken, humiliated, and unsure of how they would survive the next 48 hours. Denise collapsed onto the couch, whispering, "God, please help us. We don't deserve this." Harold finally picked up the phone, not shaking, not scared. He dialed one number, one name, one person. As the phone rang, he whispered under his breath, "It's time." The call connected. A deep, steady voice answered. Harold swallowed hard and said, "Son, we need you." The voice on the other end went silent for a moment, then sharpened with seriousness. "I'm coming." And that was all he said. Harold exhaled with relief he hadn't felt in years, because Victor had no idea who he had messed with. No idea who was coming. No idea what was about to happen. And when the truth arrived, it would change everything. The next morning, sunlight poured into the Carter home. But neither Harold nor Denise had slept. Their packed bags sat by the wall, just in case. Denise kept checking the window, afraid Victor would show up early with another threat. At 10:14 a.m., they heard the rumble of an engine outside. Denise's heart jumped. Is that him? Is Victor back? Harold walked to the door slowly and peeked outside. It wasn't Victor. A black SUV with government plates pulled up to the curb. The back door opened, and a tall man in a dark navy suit stepped out, clean-cut, confident, calm. The kind of presence that changes the air the second it arrives. It was their adopted son, Marcus Carter. But he wasn't just anybody. He was Judge Marcus Carter, one of the youngest federal judges in the state. Neighbors peeked out from their windows. Some even stepped onto their porches, whispering as they recognized the familiar face they'd seen on the news. Denise gasped and covered her mouth. Oh, thank God, he came. Marcus walked straight toward the house, his expression serious, his pace strong and steady. When he reached them, his voice softened. Mom, Dad, I'm here now. Denise started to cry into his chest. We didn't want to bother you. You're so busy. You are my family, Marcus said firmly. No one puts you out of your home. Not like this. Harold sighed with relief. We didn't know what else to do. Marcus nodded. You did the right thing. Before they could continue, a loud voice echoed from the driveway. Hey, you can't park there. Victor stomped out of his truck, waving his arms. Move your vehicle. And you, he pointed at the elderly couple, you have less than 24 hours left. I'm not playing games. Marcus calmly turned around to face him. And for the first time, Victor paused. Something about the way Marcus stood, not scared, not angry, but commanding, made Victor's confidence wobble. And who are you supposed to be? Victor asked, squinting. Marcus didn't answer immediately. Instead, he walked forward with slow, controlled steps, stopping just a few feet away. I'm the man you've been threatening, without knowing who you were. Dealing with, Marcus said quietly. Victor scoffed. Oh, don't start with that tough talk. You can't stop me. I own the property. Marcus's jaw tightened. And you think that gives you permission to harass tenants? To break the law? To bluff illegal eviction notices to elderly residents? Victor blinked, confused. What do you mean, illegal? I can do what I want. You really can't, Marcus replied calmly. In fact, you've broken at least 3 major housing laws just this week. Victor's face turned red. You're bluffing. Who the hell are you? Marcus finally reached into his suit pocket and pulled out a leather case. He flipped it open. Victor froze. Inside was a federal judge identification badge, shining in the sunlight. Impossible to doubt. The color drained from Victor's face instantly. The neighbors watching from their porches gasped. A few even murmured, "Oh my God," under their breath. Marcus spoke with absolute authority. I am Judge Marcus Carter. I oversee federal housing violation cases in this district. And you, Victor Hale, are seconds away from being reported for unlawful eviction, age discrimination, harassment, and violation of tenant rights. Victor stumbled backward. Wait, I didn't know. I wasn't trying. Yes, you were, Marcus interrupted sharply. You targeted them because they're elderly, because they're black, because you assumed no one would stand up for them. He stepped closer, lowering his voice. You assumed wrong. Victor looked like he might faint. Judge Carter, please. Let's be reasonable. I can fix this. They can stay. No rent increase. No eviction. I'll repair anything they need. Just don't file anything. But Marcus didn't flinch. You're going to do more than that. Victor swallowed hard. Anything. Just name it. You will, Marcus said slowly. Renew their lease for 10 years at the same rate. In writing. Today. And you will issue a written apology for every threat you made. Victor nodded rapidly, sweating. Yes, I can do that. Absolutely. And it, Marcus added, if you ever step onto this property again without permission, I will personally make sure you face full legal consequences. Victor didn't even argue. He practically sprinted back to his truck to grab paperwork. Denise watched from the doorway, her hand over her heart. He listened to you. Marcus smiled gently. Of course he did. You're my parents. Nobody messes with you. Harold's eyes glossed with pride. Son, thank you. Marcus hugged them both, holding them tight. You took me in when I had no one, he whispered. Now it's my turn to protect you. By evening, the papers were signed. The apology letter was delivered, and Victor didn't even look them in the eyes as he drove away. Terrified, humiliated, and defeated, Harold and Denise sat on their porch, the sunset warm around them, peace finally settling in. Denise squeezed Marcus's hand. You saved our home. Marcus smiled softly. No, he said. I just made sure justice did what it was always supposed to do. And for the first time in days, they all felt safe again.